All right, Sooner Nation, we got to talk about this. I've been doing some digging on some of the players on this team, and to be honest, I think there's a couple coaches right now that deserve some praise for, a masterful job that we've seen in their coaching and execution on the field. We've seen some players that have sprouted out that has been shocking just about all of us, and I think we need to dive into that. So sit back, relax, Sooner Nation, grab yourself a drink. Let's sit down and talk about these coaches, Emmett Jones and Miguel Chavis, and what we have seen out of both of them and the players underneath their tutelage, how they've changed year over year. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thanks for pulling up to the channel. We appreciate the love and support as we're seeing a lot of growth. So if you like the content, please continue to hit that like button. Wipe your feet when you come into the house. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We'd love to have you join us here with this family of college football fans. We talk a lot of OU football and college football in general, and we have a blast doing it. And so I want to talk about Miguel Chavis as well as Emmett Jones. Now, if you have been following me for a while, you know me. You understand. I've had a campaign going for a while that Emmett Jones deserves a raise, especially the way that his players are playing. And now I think Miguel Chavis is on that list because, man, there's two players right now that you need to keep your eyes on that Miguel Chavis has tutored very well. And they're jumping off the screen. So let's dive right into it. I think I'm going to lead with Miguel and we'll close with Emmett Jones because the campaign is big. We need that man to get himself a raise because he's doing some special stuff for the Sooners. But let's talk about it. So on the defensive side of the ball, we've seen some pretty big leaps, especially on the line. And so one player I wanted to make mention of that you need to keep your eyes on is going to be our Mason Thomas. Now, the sophomore, he's been dealing with some ankle injuries or whatnot, but he showed up in that UCF game. And man, was he disruptive. 3 quarterback hurries. He added a spark. And number 32, man, when you add him next to PJ Adebawore, our young defensive ends, oh my goodness, that edge is going to be absurd. We have one player that's also on that list of players that Miguel Chavis, he didn't recruit this player, but he's been tutoring him this entire time, Ethan Downs, who's had some absurd games the last couple of weeks, right? He's walking in as an edge that, honestly, a lot of you have told me wasn't as good as, as advertised. Possibly shouldn't even be starting, but man, has he turned around with Miguel Chavis coaching him. And so I want to give some praise to this coach and to these players of what they're doing because Downs came in 6 tackles, 6 total tackles, 3 solos, 3 assists, and a sack against UCF, 2 sacks against Texas. Like he was all over the place. The last couple weeks, 2 sacks against Cincinnati, a sack against Iowa State. And so you've seen him in and out. And this is just the last 5 games. He is having himself a really good season, totaled out with 23 total tackles, with 12 of them being solos, 4.5 sacks. And his sacks have been coming as of late. He's been playing, and then he got the interception against Kansas that should have sealed the game, but we won't divulge and dive into old news. We're going to talk about what we're seeing from Ethan Downs, as well as PJ Adebawore, as well as R. Mason Thomas. Now, R. Mason Thomas is one of those players that's going to jump off the screen for you in the next year or two. He was one of those 3-star prospects that a lot of you told me, he's a 3-star, he's not that special. But everyone sees him. He's a dude, freak of nature. And during fall camp, he was beating people out at that edge position. And if he didn't have that ankle injury, we may have seen a lot more of him. But now that it looks like he's about 100%, man, a lot of people had him penciled in as the starting lineman. But now Ethan Downs has proven to us that he deserves to be there. And it's all because of the coach and Miguel Chavis. Remember, Miguel also got us Daniel Okoye. He even went out there and got us PJ from Kansas City, 5-star plus. He has done a really good job of molding these edges and getting them better with the young players. Trace Ford is having a resurgent season, all under the tutelage of Miguel Chavis. We're seeing these players play. They play good in coverage, and they're doing a good job of getting pressure. They're forcing these quarterbacks to throw the ball a lot faster than they want to. They're help contributing to the fact that the average percentage of quarterback completions this season is 57%. They're forcing quarterbacks to get rid of that ball a lot faster than they want to. And that is what we've been needing out of the edge position. We're looking good. And it's still happening. We're seeing some big stuff out of these players. And I'm excited at what Miguel Chavis is doing. And I'm excited at what he's got coming down the line. Like I said, Wyatt Gilmore, out of this top player out of Minnesota, grabbed Danny Okoye locally. He's building something special on that defensive line. And man, he's one of the big hires as a young coordinator that people didn't even believe in yet. He's doing it big. I'm sold on Miguel Chavis. And then let's talk about Emmett Jones. Emmett comes here from Texas Tech. You know, the wide receiver room this year, we add questions. Who's going to step up? I mean, we got Jalil Farouk and we really don't have nobody else. We get the transfer of Andrew Anthony the day of Emmett Jones coming and taking the job here. And so you get a player like Andrew Anthony from Michigan, in which you've heard people say, how did Michigan let this guy go? And he comes out and becomes our top receiver. And then you see the resurgence. You see the ascension of a Nick Anderson, who Nick was a 3-star prospect coming in. Now, he was the little brother of Rodney. So we knew that Nick was going to be something, and he's coming and he's doing it. And another receiver y'all was talking to me about, the one that y'all was telling me, man, we got too many questions about this guy. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Our main man, Jaden Gibson. And Gibson out there looking strong with them hands, averaging 25 yards a catch on his 7 catches for 176 and 2 touchdowns. Nick is sitting here 17 catches, 8 touchdowns, 405, 23, averaging 23 yards per catch. They've put in work at the receiver position. And all we need to do now is get the ball out to these guys more often, which, you know, I have another video coming about Dylan Gabriel and how I feel like that's going to happen. We'll talk about that in a bit, but we're seeing some good stuff. Brendan Thompson comes in healthy, 33 yards a catch, 3 catches, 1-on-1. And I'm sensing that we're going to see a lot more deep shots with Brendan going forward. And so Jalil Farouk, even out there, he's our leading receiver in yards at 449, only because Andrew Anthony got hurt. But the thing is, we're seeing the receivers, they're blocking better and they're catching better. They're catching in traffic and they're fighting their way for additional yards. We're seeing a different type of wide receiver here that, you know, I didn't expect coming into the season. We had lower expectations, and man, are they exceeding them. Emmett Jones is showing us that he can develop. And then you see what he's done on the recruiting trail for the 2024 class and the 2025 class. He's already got players lined up wanting to play for him. That is huge for what we're trying to do here at Oklahoma. And I am excited long term at what this looks like. Now, but we got to find a way to make sure we keep this man, in which why I keep saying, man, to get this man a raise. And honestly, man, to do the same thing for Chavis. That man, he's young, he's hungry, and he gets these recruits so excited that, I mean, I'm telling you, as we're seeing the technique and growth that he's doing right now, long term, this team is going to ascend in the SEC because of it. That defensive line is looking good. The wide receiver room is going to be stout. My goodness. The excitement is high for what we're doing here at Oklahoma, and I'm hoping you all feel the same way too. So I'm talking about Miguel Chavis. I'm talking about Coach Emmett Jones. Hop in the comments. Let your boy know what's your thoughts. How do you feel about these coaches and what you think they're doing today? What do you think about the job they're doing and what you feel like about long term? Because remember, we're still a young team, and all we're going to do is continue to get better. If you've made it this far, you like the content, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Love for you to join this family of college football fans. We're talking a lot of OU football and college football in general. We will be expanding as the season continues, especially in the offseason. We're going to grow. We're going to do a lot of talking around everybody. But I wanted you all to remember just how great this guy is. YouTube says check out one of these videos. I highly recommend it because I put it together for you. And we'll talk soon.